In a world facing urgent environmental and social challenges, solutions often emerge not from boardrooms, but from brave individuals who dare to reimagine the future.
And as Bangalore grows faster each day, for that matter, any growing city in the country, the demand for sustainable, responsible solutions grows with it. My name is Som Narayan and I co-founded Carbon Masters with a simple belief that organic waste, if treated responsibly, can power our future. We wanted to build something that could reduce carbon emissions, help farmers, and replace fossil fuels all at once. But starting something truly new is never simple. We began with the pilot plant just outside Bangalore, a small team, one vision, and countless challenges. Biomethane wasn't mainstream. Bottled biomethane didn't exist as a brand. Living in Bangalore, I saw two crises side by side: overflowing waste and rising energy demand. It struck us that what we were calling as waste was actually misplaced energy. Cities like Bangalore don't lack resources, they lack systems to unlock value from what they generate every day. Organic waste is renewable, local, and inevitable. People will always generate it. If managed scientifically, it becomes a predictable feedstock for clean energy and fertilizer. That reliably is powerful. It turns a daily liability into long-term climate and economic asset. Waste systems is focused on disposal and not value creation. Energy systems is focused on supply and not decentralization. And no one is connecting the two at scale. And we saw this gap where organic waste would simultaneously solve urban problems, energy access, and farmer organic input challenges as well. Energy adoption depends on trust and convenience. Carbon Lights made green gas tangible, bottled, branded, reliable, and easy to use. We supply 365 days. It helped our customers see biomethane not as an experiment but as a direct replacement for their fossil fuels such as LPG and diesel. So performance-wise, Carbon Lights matches LPG for heat output and reliability. Emissions-wise, it's dramatically cleaner, near zero particulate matter, and significantly lower life cycle carbon emissions. It's a rare case where sustainability doesn't require a performance compromise. So early on, the smaller projects and the pilot showed us that the demand wasn't the problem, the supply was. Once the customers experienced stable pricing and clean combustion and supply, they didn't want to go back to their fossil fuel. The real constraint became on how fast we could build the infrastructure and create more and more supply for our customers. At some point, we hit a wall. We had the demand sorted, we had the technology, we had all the know-how and the excellent unit economics for these projects. But we didn't have the capital to expand. We didn't know who would support a climate tech idea like ours.
Treated water is life for any city, but in reality, most urban sewage treatment plants don't treat at all. I am Vishal Murarka, co-founder and managing director of Megaliter Varunaa. Our mission is simple: fix what's broken. So at Megaliter Varunaa, we take over dysfunctional STPs, that is sewage treatment plant, and which is polluting or discharging untreated wastewater to lakes and neighborhood. We take them, we repair them, upgrade them and operate them every single day. Communities don't pay upfront. We invest, we bring expertise, and they pay only monthly fee based on our performance. So I'll talk about my own personal experience. When there was COVID, in my society, which is like 400 apartments, everybody was home. So obviously the wastewater that was getting generated from these society apartments was very large, and it was not able to treat the volume of our own STP. So we had to live with a poor quality recycled water coming from the STPs. So then I kept thinking about, is there a way to solve this? And we did this first pilot project in my own apartment complex, and it's been running for 4 years now. So that made my resolve stronger, that okay, this will work, people will pay for it, and if we can own the life cycle right from the investment to operation and maintenance, people will pay for it, and that's where it all started. So here, if you have to understand how the sewage treatment plant is structured. So the capex is done by the builder or asset owner, whoever could be the case. Then the installation, the construction is done by a certain separate agency. And then after everything is finished, then it goes to the third agency. So these three people are different. They are doing their job, and end of the story. We are trying to tie up all of this and make it as a performance-driven system versus ad hocism. That's where we bringing the change. We are doing a business model innovation where we bring in the capital, we do the construction of these STPs, and then run it for a long-term contract. So we are tying up all of these three elements for a successful installation and running the plant. So as we see and how the world is moving, the population is increasing and the cities are becoming more and more denser than what it was in the past. Now when the people start to live more closer, larger societies are there, and if we send this untreated sewage to the lakes or the drainage system, then eventually it is going to either lakes or groundwater or to some poor communities who are forced to consume like contaminated water. I want to change that. I want to make sure that the communities treat their own waste and reuse it, and similarly so the load on the central infrastructure will reduce. So that's what we are trying to solve. So as we explained that we are bringing in the capex. So when I'm saying if I'm bringing in the capital in the first place, so somebody has to fund it. So I can fund maybe one plant or two plant, but until I have a runway to fund these plants, I can't really scale up. And if I have a plan to do 100 plants over the next 5 years, I need more than 250 crore worth of capital. So without an external funder, I don't think we can really do our mission the way we are thinking. And we didn't know who would who would understand our work we do, and who would actually fund it. So that was a big who. Yeah.
key issues which is in front of us today, which we need to address urgently in India, are the climate resilience, livelihoods and jobs for the youth, healthcare, and also the education to skill people to get meaningful jobs. Missing middle are those SMEs who are looking for loans that are too big for MFIs and too small for banks and commercial investors. We at Navaka provide patient capital, technical assistance, and a strong sense of partnership, not just financing. Navaka starts off by actually looking at what is the impact the enterprise is creating. The impact can be local or it can be global. And what is the motivation of the entrepreneurs to actually be in that social enterprise? These are the two things which we look at. So we look at high impact businesses, which we will help them also to scale. We'll help them to be sustainable. We'll help them to be more impactful. Social enterprises require a whole lot of support services. One is access to timely finance. Second one is the promoters should have the patience to actually look at social impact and at the same time look at how do we serve the people. It's unlike the commercial businesses. Social enterprises are addressing two challenges. One is they're saying how to uplift the people out of poverty, how to support the population to have meaningful and good quality life. Second one is they're also looking at how to become financially sustainable.
So we met Raj and Suresh. One of our investors introduced to Navaka. The conversation started around shared conviction. The climate infrastructure in India needs scale, not pilots. And Navaka understood the sector realities and asked the right long-term questions from day one.
I think when Navaka came on board and when we met them for the first time and when we tried to explain what we were doing, I think couple of things stood out very clearly. One, the clarity with which they approached our company. That I think that was very good in terms of experience, because they understood what we were talking and they asked very relevant information and question what we can do. They took effort in terms of visiting our location where we had installed to see firsthand what we were doing. I think that was very powerful, because then actually seeing is believing. So I think the team took that initiative and they really came to sites and understood what we were doing. That's number two. Number three, I think the turnaround was very fast. So I think that is very important for a company like us, because when we are developing a project, we need capital and we can't just wait for 6 months or 1 year. So I think these are some of the very clear approach of Navaka which really stood out, because we talked to so many other bankers, but this approach really made a difference versus others we were talking to.
Both Carbon Masters and Megaliter Varunaa are addressing a very niche area. Carbon Masters converts municipal waste into bottled CNG and organic manure. The bottled CNG is used for cooking and transportation, a perfect model of circular economy. This organic manure has the potential to replace chemical fertilizers, which improves soil quality. Megaliter Varunaa treats wastewater from residential and commercial properties. This treated water is used for non-potable purposes. This reduces the load on cities' freshwater needs. There is a potential for this water to become potable quality water.
So we could develop our first project in Bangalore, just outskirts of Bangalore, with Hasrudala Innovations. We've called that as a JV Sustainable Impacts. At Carbon Masters, we take segregated organic waste streams, convert it into biogas, upgrade into clean biomethane, and deliver it as usable fuel and organic fertilizer. In short, we turn cities' organic waste into clean energy for businesses and nutrients back to farms, making it a circular economy. It was Navaka's funding that helped us to complete the project. We in fact have repaid their debt from the first fund, and that helped us to plan multiple units post that, gave us clarity and confidence on how to actually infuse capital into a project and then repay the capital back. We could plan multi-year expansions. We could then start working on multiple projects because of Navaka coming on board.
When Navaka agreed to fund us, I think the major change I would talk about on my own personal self. I believed in what I was doing was right. I think that is the most important. Being an entrepreneur, we are always in self-doubt. But somebody was willing to bet on you. So I think that whole change of dimension in mindset of myself, my team, they believed, yeah, this can be done. So I think that is where I would say Navaka's first onboarding with us is a game changer for us.
After Navaka came on board, we used the debt facility. We were able to create the facility as well as close out on the debt, refinance it on a longer term basis. So that has helped us to go from what was a small scale facility in Bangalore, and now we have embarked on a much larger project which is almost about 10 to 15 times of the initial scale.
Today we are treating more than 8 million liter of wastewater on a daily basis. So we are talking about almost more than 2.5 billion liter a year. That is the impact we are creating today. If Navaka was not there, this wouldn't have started in the first place. So that is very important.
For us, success means the following. One is, what is the kind of impact they're creating? What is the kind of livelihoods they have created? Second one is whether this company is also financially sustainable. Because it's important for companies to be financially sustainable so that they can continue to serve these communities which they intend to serve.
So growth for us means to have measurable carbon reduction, process as much as waste possible within the city and solve for the city. Also create organic fertilizer at a very reasonable cost for farmers, create jobs in waste management. And if we don't pull all this together, it's not real growth for us. Now, of course, we need to make money on every project that we embark on, and that's happening. But you need all these impact metrics to be in place in order for us to make it a real business model for scale.
So I want to give one very quick small number. So as per the studies, and these are many studies we have seen, out of 100 liter that anybody consumes, 45 liter can be reused for something like flushing, gardening, chiller application, and multitude of non-potable application. So 45 liters. As of today, that needle is at 8 liter, 8%, right? So what we are solving is, we are solving the gap between 45 liters and 8 liter, and take this 8 liter to, let's say, 45 as close as possible. So once we are able to do that, automatically the dependence on fresh water requirement will grow down substantially. And when it goes down substantially, then the other societies can benefit from that change that we are trying to bring. The future is more about just recycling. It's a lot about water credits, which we are now talking to many people who are willing to look at this as a water credit story, the way the world has seen the carbon credit story. So I think a lot of exciting things are there for us to do, right from these project development to giving the recycled water, and then finally finding a financing structure via the water credit story and making it free for my clients. So if I go to a society and tell, guys, just give me your sewage, I'm going to give you free treated water every single day for your lifetime, I think that would be the success for me in a long way.
Across this growing landscape, Navaka steps in with a simple, powerful approach, partnering closely with small and growing businesses, understanding their realities on the ground, and providing the capital and guidance they need to scale sustainably. Navaka's focus is clear: creating meaningful jobs for youth and underserved communities while ensuring the social enterprises driving them are financially sustainable. Because lasting impact happens when livelihoods and long-term resilience grow together.